Hey NAI football fans, Cory Thorpe here with another edition of the NAIFBALL podcast powered by AdCraft USA, your custom apparel, merch, and uniform experts. Our friends at AdCraft have been with us for many years now. They've run web stores for us multiple times. These guys are NAI fans and family who are experts in the apparel and merchandise world. AdCraft allows you to take the hassle out of ordering. Let their knowledgeable design and customer service staff handle everything from hosting the store online, shipping the product, and helping your customers so you can get back to the game. Find them online at adcraftusa.com. All right,
Oh yeah.
guys. Tonight we are back in the mid-states, mid-east, and we have the Marian Knights head coach, Mark Henninger. Coach, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing awesome. How are you?
Hey, we're doing all right. So y'all are starting camp. You just got out of practice. How's spring going so far?
Well, we're one practice in, so it was I'll tell you, it was just a lot of fun. It was so awesome to be just to be back out coaching football, I mean, and meetings, position meetings and all that yesterday, and that first helmet practice today where you're just trying to get your feet wet and get guys running around, and it was just it was just so much fun. Spring football, to me, I love spring football. I mean, it's just, there's no, the pressures of getting ready for a game and all that kind of stuff. None of that's present. It's just, going out and being with the guys and having fun and playing football. And, so yeah, it was pretty juiced up after practice one.
And it's really kind of the first real spring practice
Yeah.
in like it seems like forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Tell me about it. Yeah. I mean, that's, I was meeting today with the guy, the guys that were the freshmen on the 2019 team did not get spring ball. I mean, so you're talking, the high school 2019s, the 2020s, and the 2021s. None of those guys have had spring practice. I mean, so you're talking, our seniors right now. Those guys had it, and they had it when they were freshmen. I mean, so it's yeah. I mean, it's really it. There were a couple of things preparing to go into today's practice that you're just like, oh yeah, we haven't. It's been a minute since we've done this.
And that's got to be exciting to where you can actually kind of get back into your quote unquote normal rhythm and set your
Yeah,
expectations. I mean, we know good and well that championship teams are built on the backs of amazing springs. I do want to talk about keeping that focus because it's so easy in the mid states, mid east to get all caught up in the schedule. I mean,
yeah,
we've had Indiana Wesleyan on already. We've had Concordia on already. We've had St. Xavier on already on the other side of the division. We're trying to line
yep,
up USF of Illinois, and it's just you have every opportunity to be caught up in the schedule and who you're playing. And how do you keep that focus in your guys to know what your ultimate prize is and to not get caught up in the week to week, but just making yourself better?
yeah. Well, it's that all kind of plays in there together, right? I mean, we think that our conference and the schedule that we play, and we think it's I don't know if you could find a division more challenging. There's a lot of really good divisions out there, and but just more challenging than the division that we're sitting in. I mean, there's legitimately, I think, in my opinion, there are five top 15 caliber type teams in our division, and that's not even to talk about. I mean, Taylor's always been, they've always been a really, a very good, solid, sound football team, and they're not in that mix. And you're talking, heck, we were 5 weeks into the season last year, and I think Lawrence Tech at that point in time was undefeated, and that's a new program. So it's like, I mean, there's just no,
Yeah.
it's murderer's row. There's not a chance really to take a breath. So, that, but playing that schedule and being in this division and in this conference, you have to constantly be looking at yourself and constantly trying to get better and be better today than you were yesterday. Because if you're not, and you're looking ahead, or you don't pay attention to what's right directly in front of you, then you're going to get beat. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just that simple. If you're not on your game, and you're not focused, and all that, then you're going to lose. So that is the challenge, right? Is constantly, you may play well this week. Okay, well, next week you've got another top 25 team coming into town, and I mean, it is a constant, never ending challenge. And then but our guys, and I'm sure the other coaches you've talked to in our league, say the same thing. That's one of the appeals about coming to our place, is that you're going to play great competition. You're going to play a great schedule, a meaningful schedule. And you got to be, it's the ultimate challenge as a competitor, knowing that you've got to be at your best every week, or you're going to get beat.
Yeah, just to kind of bring that out, in 4 consecutive weeks, y'all played at Indiana Wesleyan versus St. Francis of Indiana versus Concordia and at Siena Heights before going to a Lawrence Tech team who was,
Yeah.
having a nice season by their standards.
Yeah.
Just a nuts
Oh
a
yeah.
nuts schedule, but that's par for the course for y'all. One of the things that I do want to bring out is, because of that schedule and that murderer's row, I imagine that you really do get to learn a lot about your team once you get to the playoffs. And I want to talk about those couple of games. First against Southwestern, where you know, uh, poor Taylor Soper there was trying to set like an NAI record for
Yeah.
numbers of punts in a game. Poor kid out there, and then going and playing at Northwestern, keeping Tyson Koima down. Talk to me about what you learned from the playoffs this year. That's going to help you with your team this year.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I mean, obviously, the opportunity to be in the playoffs is it's a great honor and a great challenge, and something that we always mark that as one of our goals. Our goal every year is to win the league, and to have an opportunity to play for a national championship. And so, making it to the tournament last year, this past season was so unique, just because we had, and I'm sure there are a lot of other teams in the same boat, but we had so many injuries to starters, and I don't know if, I'm sure some of that has to do with playing, 2 seasons in a calendar year. I'm sure, but a lot of those, and then also, you just have those years where you have more injuries. So we had a couple of fluke things, and next thing you know, it's like, by the end of the year, from the end of our playoff game that we played in April, to the start of the playoffs this past season, we lost 11 starters. And
Oof.
so, um, you know with that, then you're playing a lot of young guys, playing, guys that maybe, you're looking at going into the season. Hey, this guy's going to be a backup, or this guy's going to be a three, even in a couple of cases. And next thing you know, we're relying on those guys to give us quality minutes, and play, important football in national playoff games. I mean, so, really, we kind of felt like we were going into the playoffs last year. We were playing fairly good football going into it, but we also felt like we were, banged up and playing some young guys, and then we found a way to win against Southwestern. I mean, they had a great plan, and a talented football team, and we had to come back late in the game to win, and that was, really showed, I think, a lot of character again out of this younger group that, I think real easily could have just kind of thrown in the towel, against a really good Southwestern team. And then we went out to Northwestern, and, same thing, just an immensely talented football team with a lot of experience. We've got the ball at the end of the game with a chance to win the thing. I mean, so, there's certainly a lot of positives that we can draw upon that. And now, as we're, again, today, that first spring practice, about half of those starters that we lost last year, a lot of those guys were out there running around today. I mean, so I think we're entering into the season, or at least entering into the summer, and then hopefully on entering into August with having some guys that a lot of guys that have played some really important minutes, and so hopefully that we're able to put together a successful spring and a great summer and all those types of things, and then we're really then able to reap the benefits of having a bunch of freshmen and sophomores playing the national quarterfinals. I mean, so that's kind of what having the experience of playing two really good football teams and win or go home situations, and we were able to make the plays in the one and didn't make enough plays in the other. And so there's plenty of things for us to draw on and learn from, and hopefully we're able to reap the benefits of it.
Yeah, you talk about, especially that offense. Marian's offense has always been a very run heavy style of offense. Stack them in, run the ball. I think of Charles Salary, um, and just all the good backs that have been through Marian. You've got Baron Hubler coming back. You do lose Johnny William, but return Ben Stevens and a slot guy who, in Jalen Jennings, who if you give him space is, gonna make a play, and you return your starting quarterback. Talk to me about continuing to grow an offense that is more dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, it's you mentioned it. We want to be able to run the football. That's kind of the we pride ourselves on being a big physical football team. We want to be able to run it, and then on defense, we want to be able to stop the run. Those are kind of the that's the foundation. Those are the things that we're going to hang our hat on, so to speak, is to be able to do those things. And you mentioned Charles Salary, and that was the guy that as the games got bigger, he was able to carry more and more and more of the weight and the load. And there were the two biggest games of his senior year in 19. We had to beat Concordia and we had to beat St. Francis. And you go back and look at fourth quarter time of possession in both of those games. Out of the 30 minutes of fourth quarter possession, I think we held the ball combined in those two for probably darn near 25 minutes, and that was us just standing back there, handing the ball to Chuck. They knew he was getting it. We knew they knew he was getting it. And Charles just found a way to just, keep the chains moving, the clock going. And I mean, that's a great type of football game, if you're asking me. So yeah, we want to be able to run it. Baron Hebler right now I mean, he is a Charles Salary type of back. I mean, he's just kind of a short spark plug type of a guy that has got enough speed that he'll make you pay for it if you give him an opening. But he's the guy that's going to get you tough yards, and it's kind of one of those deals like in the playoffs. Uh, we had the other two running backs that kind of split time with Baron. We're both, one was hurt and one was sick that day, and so we rolled into the national quarterfinals with a true freshman, and guy carried the ball 38 times, and he's just an absolute warrior. So we're excited about him. He's had a great offseason. He's getting bigger and stronger and all those things, and so we're stoked about him coming back. Uh, you mentioned losing Johnny William. I mean, Johnny Williams is going to be a trivia question. I mean, he's a 5-time first team all league player. With when you throw COVID in there, I mean, there aren't going to be too many guys that are 5-time first team all conference in our league. So, obviously, I feel like, I feel a little bit like Billy Bean and Moneyball. It's like, okay, we can't make up Johnny Williams, but can we do it in the aggregate? And you mentioned we've got, Ben Stevens is coming back, and he had a heck of a season last year. And then, Jacob Pressler, who we lost him on the Thursday practice going into week one, and he was out for the season. He comes back, I mean, and then you mentioned Jalen Jennings there. He's going to get a lot of time in there at the slot spot, and he can make you miss in a phone booth. And so, we've got some dynamic guys. And then, looking forward to Zach coming back with another year under his belt and some experience. And and just being comfortable and so on offense, it really looks good. And the great thing right now, in my opinion, is you look at our offensive line, and uh, we've got 10 guys on our offensive line right now that have started multiple games, and none of those guys. I mean, Darren technically has 2 years left to play. So and he's the oldest guy up there. So they all have 2 or 3 years remaining. So I think I suspect that, and we expect our offensive line play, to really be back, on par with some of those great offensive lines that we had, back when Tevin Lake and Jakari Gore and Charles Sally were carrying the football. So again, for us, it all starts up front. Got to be great on the offensive line in order for us to run it. And then we got to have enough. If teams start loading up the box, we've got to have enough weapons outside to make teams pay for it.
So this is going to be your 10th season at the helm of Marian, and it's Marian's, I think, 15th year of having a football program overall. So what's been kind of the most challenging part of creating Marian as a consistent winner?
Well, I think you hit it on the head. I mean, obviously, it's just trying to, there's extremely high expectations at Marian, and it starts with the top of our university. I mean, our president is, he played college football, he coached high school football. I mean, he's a football guy, and when they started football at Marian, back in 2007, I mean, they did it. They didn't do it just as a way to get another 100 male students. They started football there, really with the idea that, hey, we're going to win, and the first year they went 1-9, and then they haven't had a losing season since then, and in year 6 won a national championship, and so not saying that things happened easy for them, but it was shown really early on there that, hey, you can win at the highest level here, and so um, the expectations have been set extremely high. I mean, so that's been the challenge, right? Is trying to, I think it's always, we always say that it's, you know, climbing the mountain and getting to the top is easy. Staying there is really, really difficult. And that has been, it's been the challenge. I think that um, we're extremely fortunate to have that challenge of having great support and high expectations, and but at the same time, it's you know this past year, whatever, you fight and you battle, and we end up you know really playing, having two tough defeats early in the year, and then we got the thing turned around and got it going, and our guys grew up, and it was really, you get into those, like this past season, and teams that advance in the playoffs. I mean, you start having a lot of fun. I think our guys had fun playing the game. I know our coaches had fun coaching it. You just get to that. Those teams are so special and tight knit and bonded, and brotherhood and family and all those things that we talk about all the time. And then, then the season ends and it's over, and then you get about 2 weeks to recover, and then you're right back in the weight room, and you got to start over. So it's just trying to get those guys to understand that, really all we did last year by having success is make it harder this year, and that's the key, man. It's always, we feel like there's always going to be a bullseye on our back, and we've got to be able to start over and start fresh and focus on us and get better every day, just like we talked about earlier. And so it's a great challenge, but I think that we've been able to build that competitive culture, and our guys, I think they enjoy the competition, amongst each other, and obviously, in our league, and so they kind of, getting them to enjoy the process, you know, and understand that you got to have a great process in order to have a great product. And I think that, we're not there yet with this team, but we're trying to instill that in them every single day. And it's a fun group to be around, and but yeah, I mean, maintaining a high level of success, and just understanding the expectations and all that, it's a challenge.
So before I let you go, just kind of ask you the question that I've been asking everybody, kind of get everybody's opinion on this across the NAIA. Uh, and it's how do you and the Marian Athletic Department connect with your athletic and non athletic alumni and your fans to create kind of that ongoing support for your team and your athletic department more widely, both on the field on game day and then off the field with monetary support?
I mean, it's that that expression of it takes the village, right? I mean, so it is. I think we have our sports information people. I think do a fantastic job. We've got people that our athletic. Steve Downing has done a fantastic job. I mean, he brings with him our athletic director. He brings with him, prior to coming here, I mean, he had 25, 30 years of Division I, Power Five experience. He played basketball at Indiana for Bobby Knight. And then when Bobby Knight went to Texas Tech, he went down to Texas Tech with him there too. And so, he was an associate AD at Indiana for 20 years and down at Texas Tech for 10. And then, he comes back he grew up in the neighborhood just kind of south of our campus. And he and his wife both had the opportunity to come home when our job came open. They took it. And I think once they hired him, I mean, all he knows is, big time college athletics. Right. And so completely revamped the athletic department as a whole. I mean, so he understands the importance of marketing and understands the importance of fundraising and being smart with our resources and going out and just trying to run a first class operation on a small college budget, and I think he's done a fantastic job of that, and then again just creating and again our president's a very dynamic guy. He's a I mean, he is a first class fundraiser. I mean, that's he is excellent at that, and um, has just done a great job at just building the brand of Marian. And we're fortunate sitting in Indianapolis. I mean, we're in the 13th largest city in the United States, and in my 9 years at Marian, there has been a new building built on campus every year that I've been there. Yes, and they just opened a new freshman dorm this past fall, and then literally they had the ribbon cutting, to officially open that building. And the very next day, they had tractors and earth movers and all that digging up ground for the new engineering building that's coming in place. I mean, so Marian has grown, and that's because it's because our president had a vision when they hired him 20 years ago, and a big part of that was football, and bringing football and giving football the things that they need to be successful. And we're fortunate to sit in a really our level talent rich state. And I mean, so it really like all the little pieces and ingredients are all there, and then you take an AD that has Power Five experience where you've got to do all those things or you're not going to survive. And then a president that loves football and understands it. And then as a result, I think our athletic department's grown. Certainly football has grown, but you look at all the sports at Marian are they're all winning right now. I mean, it's just there's just a culture that's been built there. Athletics are important, and they've been made important. And I mean, obviously there's always, we'd love to have more money and love to have more whatever, but it's a pretty good spot. And clearly we've been given by the administration what we need to win. And it's our job to go out and find, the right type of people and players, and coach them the right way, and find a way to win a bunch of really tough games in a really tough league.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about is at this point, getting to Durham and getting to play in that game and making it all the
No doubt.
way. And once you're there, all bets are off. You know,
Yep.
it's
Yep.
always a toss up at that point. Well, Coach, I thank you again for coming on the show tonight.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We hope you enjoyed this episode of the NAIF Ball Podcast presented by AdCraft USA. Be sure to contact them for all your custom apparel, merch, and uniform needs. Thanks also to Mommy Bay Turf and Turf Nation, as well as Leading Edge Fundraising for their support of the podcast. If you enjoy the show, subscribe to the podcast as well as to our YouTube channel. Leave us a review if you're listening on Apple Podcasts. As always, if you'd like to support what we do, head over to patreon.com/NAIAFBALL and become a patron. We can't do what we do without our sponsors and listeners like you.